what does being an adult means? Someone who's grown up enough, someone who's an adult, they are better able to process their emotions, they are better able to look at things from a practical point of view instead of dwelling into their emotions. While as people who are in their teenage, people who are young, children, if we say, they are not really able to look at the world through the lens of practicality because they have not seen the world enough. That's what adulthood is: being more practical and less emotional, being more responsible and not careless. Practically, this is how adults look like. But have you ever seen someone who is traumatized, who is having a trauma response, and look like an adult? Not really. When a trauma is triggered, you're not talking to any adult, you're talking to the child who was traumatized. I'll take an example and you will be able to understand it better. Somebody who has panic attacks, somebody who gets panic attacks or anxiety attacks, while they are getting that panic attack or anxiety attack, are they able to sit quietly, or are they able to sit normally and act like an adult, look composed, not show emotions? No, no trauma responses that way. So when you're talking to someone whose trauma is just triggered, they are not talking as an adult that they are. Maybe they are 22 years old or 32 years old or even 82. But the moment that trauma is triggered, the moment that trauma is responding, they are not really the adult you are looking at. They are all of a sudden the kid who got traumatized, the kid who is experiencing that trauma. All of a sudden, they are unable to speak. They are all up in their emotions. They are not able to navigate through their feelings. They are not able to get control of their life like an adult could. So, when the trauma response comes up, you are no longer the adult you are. You are the same kid, the same child who got traumatized. So you must have seen this in movies and documentaries and in real life, that when we talk to a person whose trauma is responding, they are not talking as an adult that they are right now. They are not looking at the current circumstances. They are not looking at their age. They are not looking at their environment. All they can recall is the memory in which that thing happened, as if the memory is new, as if it is the thing that is happening quite in real time. But that's not how it actually is in practicality. Adults are not traumatized, children are. You can't traumatize an adult because adults have more authority over themselves. They can walk away from a situation, they can detach, they can leave the person, they can leave the situation, they can leave the place, they can do things for themselves, they can guard themselves so they won't be traumatized. Disinterested afterwards, but they won't be traumatized. Trauma happens to the kids who are unable to do things. Now, have you seen the women who are abused in their childhood? They are not really able to retaliate if the abuse is happening in their, let's say, where they are married to, because when it happened when they were child, they did not had as much authority as they do hold now. But do they retaliate back? Because the child in them learned that it is dangerous to retaliate back. There is nothing in your control. So this is basically what the all of it is about. The moment your trauma is triggered, you're no longer the adult you actually are, but you are the kid who got traumatized. This is the reason why if the harassment, if somebody is being assaulted, they freeze, they are not able to speak, they are not able to yell, they are not able to leave the situation or retaliate back mentally, physically, in any way, because the child in them has learned that they are stuck and anything they do is going to add more punishment into it. If you talk to enough people about their childhood, one of them is going to give you quite an amazing story where you are going to think, oh, but you had option to leave that. You can leave any situation if you're not really dependent on the other person, and even if you are, leave for your peace of mind. But those people just can't. They look more helpless than they actually are. They are not really paralyzed. They cannot move. Paralyzed people can't move. They are physically unable to move. But those people are not paralyzed physically, mentally, or anything. It is just that the child in them learned that even if they try to do anything, even if they try to talk, if they try to talk back, if they try to retaliate with force, if they try to leave the situation, if they abandon the situation or the person or the emotion in any way, it is going to have a negative impact on their life, because the child in them learned that that child could not leave, can't leave, or survive on their own. The adult person, the person that they become 10, 20, 30 years afterwards, they are still stuck in the same situation mentally, which is very heartbreaking to watch, because you are no longer the person who has to tolerate all of that. You can leave the situation, but you can't convince them to leave the situation or tell them that they are adult, because you cannot change anybody else's reality. Only they can, and they have learned that they can't. So what happens to you in your childhood holds you as you are in your adulthood.